Hey, what's going on, Uncle Nine fans? It's your boy Music Nerd. We're going to be doing a minute with Music Nerd. I know usually we do a game preview at this point, but there is no game this week. The game is not until next week. I'll be doing a preview for the Miami Florida State game then. Unfortunately, it will not be as big as it was going to be since Florida State suffered a loss tonight. But there is still something I wanted to put on the channel this week and talk about. We also will be having a podcast out this week, so be looking out for that. So for me, I'm actually about to do a bit of an editorial for the channel, something that we try to do when we have an idea. So that's something I'm going to be doing from time to time when something strikes me. So this topic is about the U being back and why it's not, and why that's not a bad thing. Let me explain. First of all, the very first thing I'm going to say about this, please stop saying the U is back. And I'm talking to you, media. I'm not talking really to the diehard fans. Diehard fans really don't say the U is back, no matter what Florida State and Florida fans say. We know it's not back, and we wouldn't say it for a 4-0 start, even if it is the third straight 4-0 start that Miami has had on the crystal ball. Because saying that is disrespectful for what the U stood for, what it spawned, and what excellence came from it. And the fact of the matter is the U is not back until a certain criteria is met, and that criteria is championships. And it's not just one, it's multiple, and it's competing for so. So, to understand why the U is not back, you have to understand what it stood for, what the U represented. Like I said, the excellence is spawned. So, let's be real. 5 championships from 1983 to 2001, something that was unheard of at the time until Alabama did its dynasty that probably just about ended. Maybe, would depends, because it still hasn't been that long since Alabama's won the championship, but I digress from that. So, it was a run where Miami won 5 championships from 1983 to 2001. Got my notes here, so I'm making sure I do this right. Competed for 2 more in the BCS era and lost. And then were 2 losses from claiming another 2 in the late 80s and 90s when they were claimed. So only the Alabama run from the 2009 to 2020s is one that is close and surpasses it. Though I do have to shout out Florida State because they had an impressive run of being top 5 14 years straight. But being as they only got 2 championships during that time, it takes away from the run. So, getting into our run and what we do. So, the reason why he cannot say that the U is back because it's not sustained excellence. It's just a 4-0 start. Now, while it is the third straight one, and the third straight time Miami has worked its way into top 15 in a Mario Cristobal season, and even with last season having a 10-win season, I'm going to explain to you why you cannot say the U is back yet. Because I'm going to look at the last time that the U was truly back, the early 2000s. So, probation in the late 90s led to Butch Davis building a team for the ages. Basically, 98, 99, the teams were talented but were young and were still recovering from probation. So, they finished, if I'm not mistaken, 7-4 one year, and then the 99 year finished 8-3, 9-3 with the bowl win. And that was the first time Ken Dorsey was starting. Took over for Kenny Kelly in that season. That was a very talented team, but had lost Nigel Davenport, so it wasn't as explosive as it could have been. They lost some games where they should not have. But the 98 season, there was an epic upset of UCLA, so you can kind of see the beginnings of what Miami was going to be, because you also had great contributions in that great game from Najee Davenport, Reggie Wayne, and Santana Moss, who will become bigger figures in the 2000 season, which is the first season of the U being truly back. So let's take a look at that 2000 season. 2000 Miami was a top 10 preseason team expected to compete with Virginia Tech and Michael Vick and Florida State, the reigning national title participants for a national title. And also had, of course, like I said, Florida State and Virginia Tech were on the schedule. Now, tripped up early in the season to a Washington team, very good Washington team. We ended up finishing number 3 in the poll, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, no, number 4 behind Florida State in the poll. But Miami, thinking because they were going to be playing the number 1, number 2 teams that year, thought they were fine. Beat number 1 Florida State at home, beat number 2 Virginia Tech at home, destroyed Virginia Tech, beat Florida State on the last second, missed field goal. But because of the BCS nastiness, as it was, got left out of the national championship game, finishing 10-1, Big East champions, and going into the BCS Bowls, and got to play Florida, where they beat them for the Sugar Bowl for his first 11-win season since his last national championship season. Though missed out on splitting the national title because of what happened between Oklahoma and Florida State. Oklahoma ended up beating Florida State, so they were the outright national championship. So that led to probably the greatest team of all time, the 2001 Miami Hurricanes. So Davis, of course, Butch Davis at this point departed for the NFL, so Larry Coker took over for this team, and this team was just unstoppable. Still holds records for consecutive wins over ranked opponents, 124-7. Probably the craziest fact about this team is that this team would have won 8-4 if the offense didn't score a single touchdown. If it was just special teams and defensive scores, this team would have won 8-4. Would have competed for the Big East championship, but this team averaged 40 points a game, so thus undefeatable. So 38 drafted, 17 first round picks. You've heard it all. 2 Hall of Famers for now. So we have a couple of finalists actually this year, a couple of semifinalists actually this year. So we'll see what happens there. 12-0 undisputed national championship. So if you're keeping up at this point, it has been 1 regular season loss and 2 seasons in a national championship. Then you go on to 2002, where ran the table again, lost in that championship game. Everybody knows about that to Ohio State. Boo hoo, crying. One of the craziest losses I've ever seen. One of the most controversial losses I've ever seen, in my opinion. That wasn't a loss, but in the record books it is. So if you're keeping track at this point, this is another 12-win season, because there was 12 games in the regular season, but lost a national championship game. But no regular season losses. So that's 1 regular season loss in 3 seasons if you're keeping track. So the next season, 2003, our great quarterback who had quarterbacked us through this point, Kenny Dorsey, left for the NFL. So they switched quarterbacks to Brock Berlin, a transfer from Florida. So this is going to be Miami's last year in the Big East. Miami went 11-2 in this year. 10 regular season wins and won the Big East, kind of going away, even though they lost to Virginia Tech and lost to Tennessee in the regular season, ending a record home winning streak and ending a record regular season winning streak as well. So if you're keeping track right now, so that was 11 wins 2000, 12 wins in 01, 12 wins in 02, another 11 wins, 4 straight 11 win season in 03, and only 3 regular season losses at this point. Now 04 and 05 is when you start to see the cracks. You get three regular season losses in 04, the first year in the ACC. Miami did competed for the ACC championship, but lost it in the last game to Virginia Tech. Miami went 8-3 in the regular season, but was able to win their bowl game against Florida to sweep the state title again, which was always awesome. But then 05 lost for the first time to Florida State, but reeled off 8 regular season wins in a row and competed for a national championship because one of those wins including a win over the number 3 ranked and undefeated in Virginia Tech, which vaulted Miami to number 3, where they stayed for about a month until they lost to Georgia Tech the week before the season finale, basically knocking them out of the national championship picture. Though, if we're being real, they would not have played the national championship because that was the year of Texas and USC. But that is probably the last year Miami truly was in the conversation for a national title, thus the last year of this Williams. And the last game I feel that really knocked Miami out of the U being back was the Peach Bowl that year. Miami ended up going 9-3 because we got destroyed in the Peach Bowl 40-3 by a talented but not that talented LSU team. One team that was only 1 rank behind us. After that, it kind of imploded. Larry Coker was let go the next year. So, if I'm going to recap this real quick, in a 6-year span, which is really the last time Miami was back, Miami lost 8 regular season games, 2 other postseason games, 5 games in the last 2 seasons of the stretch when it was really kind of us going off. To compare, Miami has lost 15 regular season games in the Coach Cristobal era alone. So saying the U is back is belittling, to say the least. That stretch I described wasn't even the best 6-year stretch since Miami got its national titles, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what's more modern. So getting to why it is a good thing that the U is not back yet. Because it takes time to build a great foundation, and right now I feel that we are seeing the start of a great foundation for this team and for this program. Last year may have ended in disappointment for us, but the line of scrimmage was shored up on both sides. So as you can see, that's how you build championship teams. One thing I forgot to mention when it talked about the offensive line sent dozens of NFL picks during that span to the NFL. And I think that's something that we're about to start doing again. Maui Noah is one. Inez Cooper is also one. Markel Bell is an absolute beast. I think at least 3 of them going to the league. And you got 5 of them really at this point playing at an all ACC level. But we digress when it comes to that. But also, too, what gives me hope for this season, and hopefully if we can stop talking about the U is back and everything like that, even though it is our highest ranking since those time of years, is that really Miami's had so many flash in the pan years that really, when it gets down to it, the foundations end up getting taken out because we have a flash of hope, and then the next season afterwards it's bad, and then the coaches are let go. If you think I'm exaggerating, let me go through it. The flash in the pan years are the great '09, '13, '17, and '20. All those seasons were great, but good, but not great. And thoughts of us turning it around. Oh wow, Miami finally has their coach, and Miami finally is putting together. It wasn't the best season, it wasn't a national title contending season, but we're turning around. So what I'm going to get into is why those seasons were flash in the pan seasons, and how the next year usually those coaches were gone. Let's first start off with the '09 season. This was Randy Shannon's third season in the season. Now, Randy Shannon was given a raw deal. '06 was really tough. Lost a player. Rest in peace to Brian Pata. And you're coming off Nevin Shapiro, the beginnings of it, and what it was starting to affect. We lost to OB at the end of his first season in a very embarrassing way, 48-0 versus Virginia. But then '09, he finally got his first true class was getting in. He got the '08 number one recruiting class in the nation. '09, those players were starting to start, but they had a gauntlet to begin with. Remember, they had 4 top 20 opponents in the first 4 games and won 3 of the first 4, so Miami remained in the top 10 most of the season. Tripped up, only finished 9-3, but was thought to be the number 1 team that was going coming back, so Miami was top 10 preseason next season. But in 10, they struggled coming out the gate. So top 10 preseason, the season ended up imploding. Miami only went 6-7 and lost to South Florida, thus ending Randy Shannon's total tenure in UM. So 1 year after going 9-4, being top 10 for most of the season, he was gone. And then we start over, reset number 1. So 2013 owner Al Golden, that was also his third season with Miami. So at this point, Miami started 7-0, got ranked as high as 7th before losing to the eventual national champion FSU, and then losing the next 2 games, but winning their last 2 in the regular season to finish the regular season 9-3, but lost the bowl game and finished 9-4. The expectations were not as high because that was a much older team, and they lost some talent when it came to it. So 2014, they actually weren't ranked in the preseason, but there was still hope that they were going to compete for a coastal championship. That did not happen. Miami started off 6-3 and was up 23-7 on the defending national champion FSU before imploding in that game, us losing it to on a Dalvin Cook touchdown run, and then losing our next 4 games to end the season 6-7. And then the next year, we lost to Clemson 58-0, and that was the end of the golden era. Reset number 2. 2017, Miami won its first 10 games. Everybody knows this. This is Mark Richt's second season. It actually was a 15-game winning streak dating back to his first season where we actually won a bowl game, and there was actually some hope. This season was ranked, if I'm not mistaken, they were ranked 15th to begin the season and rose all the way to as far to as number 2 in the CFP rankings. The last time Miami was this high as it is right now. And then imploded over his last 3 games, losing to Pitt, Clemson, and Wisconsin. But was top 10 for the next season because most of the team was returning back from a very good defense and a serviceable offense who had a lot of weapons. But lost embarrassing fashion to LSU in the first game, making it 4 straight losses against Power 4 teams. Was able to win its next 3, and then was able to win its next 5, and then imploded in the season, losing 5 of its last 7, and then Richt ended up resigning when he was told that he had to fire his offensive staff, and after he refused to, he resigned. Thus, start over number 3. And come on to Manny Diaz. So, 2020, the weird COVID year. This is actually Manny Diaz's second season. So, Miami won 8 of his first 9 games, only losing the top-ranked Clemson, and spent most of the season in the top 10 as well. But then got absolutely embarrassed by North Carolina to the tune of giving up over 500 yards rushing. Y'all remember, right? Yes, I'm sure y'all do, because it was an embarrassing loss that even at then Kirk Herbstreit famously saying that all the goodwill that Miami had built up this season was wiped away because of the way they lost that game. Then we lost our bowl game to OK State, and then we started the season ranked in the top 20, but we were playing Alabama to begin the season. Alabama absolutely whopped us. We still stayed ranked, won a couple games, and then Michigan State came to town and then beat us in embarrassing fashion. Then we started off the season 2-4, that was able to actually win a couple of games, win some ranked games against some ranked opponents, which was showing that the team was talented. It just was lacking something when it came to it, and then lost to a very bad Florida State team. Florida State team that lost to Jacksonville State. If you get where I'm going, Miami finished 7-5, not being able to go to their bowl game because of COVID, and fired Manny Diaz and hired Mario Cristobal. Restart number 4. So no, the U is not back. But that's, as you can see by what has happened when we thought it was back before, it's not a bad thing. First things first, Miami's actually building something right now, and that may be able to be sustained instead of something that we roll our eyes at in the next year or so and be like, oh, well, it's time to hit the reset button. Let's stop hitting the reset button. Let's stop wishing for Miami to be back, and let's enjoy what we have right now. Miami's building something on the offensive line. Coach Cristobal is building something in these buildings, and in the words of Coach Cristobal, it means that we have years ahead to look forward to. Basically, it's not about being back; it's about moving forward. And Miami, for the first time in a long time, is moving forward. And as fans, we need to stop looking back and not wonder if the past is back for us, and wonder what it's going to be looking like for the U in the future. So that is my editorial. I hope you guys love it. Like I said, podcast will be new on Monday. We'll be having little things that we do during the week. I am actually going to be pretty busy myself with work. I'm only going to be able to pop into Tallahassee and then pop out for the game, so I won't be doing as much as I usually do with the channel, but I'll be trying to post little snippets of the podcast as we go this week. Hopefully you guys are able to enjoy the game. Hopefully it is a Miami win, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. And hopefully you guys enjoy your next Saturday as well. So thank you guys for watching this editorial. Please like, share, subscribe. We're trying to get more eyes on the channel. We're trying to get this to blow up a little bit. Please and thank you guys. We thank you so much for rocking with us, and we will see y'all next time. Go Miami, beat FSU. Off 199th. Out.